1, 2, 3, 4. Today's job is going to be to remove the power steering pump and hopefully rectify an oil leak coming from that. Right, I'm not too sure if you can see clearly enough by this, but what we've got is it's leaking from here. Also, I've been told it's been leaking from here, and I've got a seal kit that will replace the seal in this bit. It also comes with a seal to replace here as well. But you can see it's leaking, it's running down this pipe, and then it's coming down onto here. You can see it's been leaking quite bad actually. So today I am going to see if we can stop that. So next job, get it off. Right, so loosen off this bolt here, and then I'm going to remove this bolt completely. It's a bit of a peg to get to, but here we go. Okay, right, so take that out. Now we'll push it down as far as we can and get this belt off. Like that. So that's now free. I can now pull that up like that. Ready for the next part, which is going to be to take this belt off. What we've done is loosened off these 3 bolts with a 10mm head. So there's one here. There's another one there. Can you see that? And then there's a third one that's down there basically. So loosen those off. Loosen off these 3 8mm bolts now. It's easier to do it now. I just slacken them off, and then using the square here, which you use for tightening the pulley, we can equally use it to loosen it, so we can rotate it like so, and that will give us the slack to take the pulley off, to take the belt off. Now I'm going to need my other hand, so I'm going to switch this off. You know what's going to happen next anyway, so let's take that off. So 3 bolts have been removed. This will just come off now, and we can see that on the inside it's nice and dry. There's no oil coming out through here, and the seal kit does come with a new seal for here, which I will change, assuming it's not too difficult to remove, but it clearly shows that the leak is not coming from this section, it's coming from the bit behind it. So let's get this piece off now, which will be with these 4 8mm bolts here. I have taken the bracket off this piece, which has allowed me to take the pump off. So now what I have is a right raw mess. I took the liberty of putting some cardboard down to try and stop me making a mess on the drive. Hopefully succeeded. So next job is to go into the garage and strip this pump down, hopefully fix it up. Now, in the relative warmth of the workshop, let's see what we got. So the diagnosis is that certainly what I've been told is there's a seal, there's an O-ring here, and over time it fails and it leaks from that, which would make sense because it was dry here, it seemed okay here, it's been fine here as well, so I can only assume it's leaking from here. It's certainly, well, I did pour quite a bit of fluid on it, so it's hard to be sure where it's coming from, but it's all very mucky around here, which would indicate that it's been leaking, and for a long time dirt's accumulated and built up. So what I'm going to do is finish pumping out the fluid out of here. Let's see if we can do that. If I turn that around, there's nothing coming out. cool sounds. Well, there's not much left. Oh yeah, here we go. Right, so next job, clean it up and pull it apart. To get this part off here, what I've had to do, or what it looks like we're going to need to do, is to take this piece off. So to get this nut off, what I've done is I've bolted it back onto the original plate to give me something to grip onto, and then hopefully I can get this nut off and this should then come away. Well, that's the theory anyway. We shall see. So, maybe this could have been done on the vehicle, but right, okay, it's been done here. Okay, right. Right, there's an O-ring there, and that's just broken. So, and that doesn't come in the kit. Great. Whoa, whoa. I had a spring behind that. Okay. Right, so that's the remnant of that seal there. I shall have to look into that. Didn't expect that to break. And this now comes out. Not too sure what to think of that. So one side. So now we've got the main body off, we can see what we're dealing with. So what we have is, this would be the O-ring, hopefully in question, that's causing all the problems. And looking at it, it is indeed, don't know if you can see on this, but it is indeed quite flat along there, so oil may well have been seeping past here and then creeping through and then just pouring out of the other end. So hopefully with this kit here, which is this one, I don't know if you can see that, so it's a STC 1633 or RTC 5935. What we have is a new O-ring, and we also have a couple of seals, so presumably the one to go in there, but I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to be able to get to that. But let's have a look at this one. Let's get this off and see how bad it actually is. Right, okay. So comparing it with the new seal, yeah, I mean it's a lot flatter. So hopefully that will fix the problem. I have, however, created a new problem, because when I removed this, there was another seal of some description. I think it went round there, and that ripped off as it was coming out. So I now have to try and find one of those. That's a pain. Anyway, back to this, the pump. There is a magnet, and it's looking pretty clean. I think if the magnet was looking bad, if it had a lot of metal on there, then it would indicate that we have got a much bigger problem with the pump. But given that it's pretty clean, it's pretty safe to say that it's actually an okay pump and it's worth salvaging. So yeah, so I shall clean this up and we'll take it from there. What I'm going to do is, for the broken O-ring, although it's thicker, I'm using this one here, which is an F12 O-ring. It seems to be okay because I can screw it up and it's going up further than it needs to go, because I presume with that on there, yeah, once that's on there, yeah, I suppose it would need to go all the way. It does appear to tighten up, so with that in mind, I'm just going to have to do. There's not a lot else I can do about it really. It's not falling apart, so yeah, I'm going to go one of those, although I'll put a fresh one on, I think. It does seem to be a bit of a one hit O-ring. So take that one off, I'll put the fresh one on. I'll probably put a little bit of oil on there to help it slide on as well, like that. Right, so old O-ring, new O-ring. I so hope this works. I think these are quite expensive to buy, and wasn't that long ago I replaced the power steering box with a new Adwest one for £450 or whatever it was. I did try to service it. I thought it succeeded, but it was still leaking out the bottom, which is very annoying. So in the bin it went. So there we go, new O-ring on. Put the magnet back on, clean. That just nestles in there, that way. Amazing, picks up more. What a clever idea. Right, so magnet on. I think now what I'll do is I'll probably just put a little bit of lube on the O-ring to help slide it on. So this is something called Slick Honey. It's actually for suspension forks, but it's ideal for making a nice slippery surface to slide things on, but it won't damage the O-rings. It's not got any nasty chemicals or anything in it, which is why it's ideal for bicycle suspension. So there we go, next job, put this back on. It's on. So process I didn't show you, quite simple really. Lay it over it, line it up, take your time, and then just hit until it drives it all the way down and it's nicely lined up like that. Okay, you really want to take your time making sure that that is going down in line, because I can't imagine it's going to be easy to twist it round. Alright, so have it going down straight. I was very lucky because that's absolutely bob on. Belts have all been put back on now. Got ourselves a ratchet in the hole in the square. We can now pull it down like so. Get the tension that we want, and then just nip or get these 10mm headed bolts up. That's those two, and there's another one right here. Hopefully That's the kind of tension we want. I hope that's about right. Looks about right. Of course, it will bed in and it will need readjusting. So it's more than likely we'll be tightening that again in a couple of days' time. Do them up nice and tight. Like that. One thing I've already done that you must remember to do is to tighten up the 3 8mm headed bolts that hold this pulley on to the oil pump. And I did it before I put the belts on. But what I did is I used a 10mm Allen key, which just nestles into the bolt there, and that allows you then to make sure these bolts are tight without it spinning around. And obviously make sure you put a little bit of Loctite on them as well, just for reassurance. Okay. What I've done to bleed the steering box is set up a pipe here on the bleed nipple with a hose running down. Just run it to a little container, and I've connected the pipe to it so it doesn't fall off. And then just turn the vehicle on, make sure I've got plenty of fluid in the main bottle, and then turn the steering left to right, keeping an eye on the fluid level, of course. Make sure you never let it run out. And then with this open, any air bubbles should come through, and then once you've got a continuous flow of oil, then you should be good to go. It should be fully bled, but just keep turning the steering left to right until you're absolutely happy with it.